Good day, everyone. We would like to bring you to the world of meaningful discovery of the core issues on human development. By the way, I'm Osel Plaza, and let me introduce to you my lovely groupmates, namely Mariel Kababat and Lisanli Kabasan. We are the fourth presenters. Please allow me to tell you how we come up with this topic. We had our research and found different issues on human development according to various sites. Thus, we stick on what really are the core or main issues on human development. Now, let's proceed to introduction. Why do we need to study the core issues on human development? We have our own concept in looking our and other people's development. In studying developmental issues, this would help us to understand our situations, others' life challenges, society's contribution in the community, and individuals' growth that would be essential to support physical and mental health. Here are the core issues on human development which characterize our lifespan development. Number 1, nature versus nurture. Number 2, continuity versus discontinuity. And number 3, stability versus change. Let's proceed to nature versus nurture. Nature refers to an individual's biological inheritance, or what we called heredity or DNA. Some philosophers like Plato and Descartes, they supported the concept that some ideas are inborn. Innate by birth, we have our specific genetic traits inherited from our parents, like eye, color, height, and personality traits. How about nurture? Nurture refers to an environmental experiences, or what we learn from our surroundings. John Locke, a philosopher, disagreed with the idea of Plato and Descartes because he believed in the concept of tabula rasa, a belief that our mind is a blank slate or an empty storage. At birth, with experience determining our knowledge. For John Locke, nurture is important on human development because people attain knowledge through experience. Our unique experiences in the environment influence whether and how our specific characteristics are expressed. Let's move on to the examples of nature and nurture. In nature, a person may acquire the risk of high blood pressure or become obese merely because the parent developed the same risk. We are the way we are because it's in our genes. Nurture proponents point to the poor eating habits that cause obesity and the limited ability to regulate personal habits that lead to high blood pressure. We turn out the way we do because of our childhood experiences, or our health and well-being stem from the lifestyle choices we make as adults. In nature proponents believe that homosexuality is genetic or outside of a person's control, while in nurture, proponents believe that homosexuality is a choice or a behavior influenced by environmental factors. In nature, if a child follows in a parent's footsteps in a given career, someone might suggests a natural inclination toward the craft, while nurturing took place in the home as the child was being raised by that particular parent. This as easily could have been then product of a learned behavior. Nature, so personality may inherit through genetics, while nurture advocates would suggest that growing up under the direct presence of the mother was a learned personality. With those examples, we discover that there is relationship between nature and nurture. Nature versus nurture argument is one of the oldest issues, both philosophy and psychology. They both mold us to who we are right now. Both are necessary for a person's existence. Our genes affect us on how we interact with our environment. Heredity and environment operate together or cooperate and interact to produce a person's intelligence, temperament, height, weight, ability to read, and others. Some aspects of development are distinctly biological, like puberty. However, puberty can be affected by environmental factors such as diet and nutrition.
Think about how children become adults. Is there a predictable pattern they follow regarding thought and language and social development? Do children grow through gradual changes or are they abrupt changes? Hi, I'm Mariel Cababa. Today I will discuss the second core issue in human development. Continuity versus discontinuity. Continuity says that change is gradual. Children become more skillful in thinking, talking, or acting much the same way as they get taller. It is a development where there is moving or changing continuously. As children become older or taller, the more knowledge they acquire. Their thinking, talking, or acting skills are more developed. Discontinuity. Views see development are more abrupt, a succession of changes that produce different behaviors in different in specific periods called stages. Discontinuity is a development where there are sudden changes without preparation. Their behavior also changes in specific age. Every stages there is maturity. The difference between continuity and discontinuity. Continuity. Development is a cumulative process. Gradually improve on existing skills. Focuses on quantitative changes in number or amount. Example of this is our height and weight. Theory implies a development without levels or without cerebral poses. Discontinuity. Development occur in unique stages. Development at a specific time or ages. These pictures represents the continuous development and discontinuous development. For example, there is a mountain that you want to climb. You're standing on the very bottom of the mountain and you want to get to the top. But when you look closer, you notice that there are two ways up. On one side of the mountain is a path that involves walking uphill until you get to the peak. On the other side, someone has carved stairs into the side of the mountain so that you can climb up to the peak that way. The path is a lot like the continuity view of development. Proponents of the continuity view says that development is a continuous process that is gradual and cumulative. For example, a child learns to crawl, and then to stand, and then to walk. They are gradually learning how to walk. It's just like hiking up the mountain path, a slow, steady ascent that leads to the top. On the other hand, some people see development as consisting of different stages. The discontinuity view of development believe that people pass through stages of life that are qualitatively different from each other. For example, children go from only being able to think in very literal terms to being able to think abstractly. They have moved into the abstract think phase of their lives. As you can imagine, this continuous development is like walking up the stairs, a series of stages or steps that get you to the top. This discussion is all about the discontinuity and continuity of human development. Thank you.
Have a pleasant day, everyone. And now I am assigned to discuss the stability versus changes, or stability and change, which is the third and final stage, the last issue of human development. Now let's talk about the stability. What is stability? Stability proposes that individuals maintain, remember the word maintain, their personal characteristics from childhood to adulthood, while the change is child's personality and characteristics bear little resemblance. Remember the word bear little resemblance to the characteristic present in adulthood. So, let's take for example, does a natural, extroverted, and talkative baby remain that way for their entire life? Now, another study from the internet that stability implies personality traits present during infancy endure throughout the lifespan. Now, in contrast, change theorists argue that personalities are modified by interactions with family, experience at school, and acculturation. Now, the capacity of change is what we called plasticity. Now, another example from Rotter 1981, he discovered that somber babies living in understaffed orphanage often become cheerful and affectionate when placed in socially stimulating adaptive homes. Now, there are studies of children have often revealed impressive stability over time in aspects of development. How aspect of development such as the attachment to their parents or in personality. However, there is evidence which suggests a contrary view that change is both possible and indeed is likely under appropriate conditions. To sum up, the issue of human development in the last in this topic, which is stability and change, is it means that human development is stable, which means that from birth, his or her personality or the human development remain until childhood and adulthood. While the change, it means that human development changes when he or she become adult or yes become adult. So that's the last issue of human development, which is the stability or stable versus change or the changing of personalities of or characteristics. Now, thank you for listening. I hope or we hope that you have learned a lot from our discussions, and if you have questions, feel free to ask us or message us with our Facebook account. So that's all. Thank you and God bless us all.